Well, you've been hearing a lot about trade. You've been hearing a lot about rare earth minerals all over the world, in Ukraine, Australia, most recently China, where the president is threatening a 100% tariff on that country for its stance on trade as it relates to rare earth minerals. So why are rare earth minerals so important? The president talks about them an awful lot, but sometimes we don't understand why they are critical to our everyday lives, especially one called tungsten. What is that? It's critical to national defense, as a matter of fact. And there's Brodie Sutherland, the CEO of Patriot Critical Minerals Corp. He's out in San Diego, California. Brodie, thanks for joining us here in the 3 p.m. streaming hour. Tell us about tungsten and why we should pay attention.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And I mean, this is a metal that, yeah, not a lot of people know about, but it is so important to everyday life. Everything that's manufactured that's metal has been cut by a tungsten carbide bit. So everything that you see around you has probably been influenced by tungsten in some way. The critical part is the military application. Tungsten is nearly as hard as diamond. It is very dense. It has the second highest melting temperature of any other element. And it's those characteristics that make it very strong. So it's used in missiles and ammunition and also strengthening alloy for aircraft, for tanks. That's why we need access to this metal, and it's so important that we have it.
And I understand just by reading some notes here that China is actually in control of 90% of tungsten production harvesting. So you can understand why the president is so concerned about their control of that mineral and our ability to access it.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is the case for a lot of critical metals. But China has absolute control. February this year, they banned all export of it. And so you can imagine if 90% of your market all of a sudden gets taken away, you need to find other sources for it. We have this metal here in the United States, and that's what our company is doing to drive forward and create domestic source supply for this metal. But we have to make agreements with other countries as well because that's a huge gap to fill now that China is no longer exporting it.
And you saw the Prime Minister of Australia at the White House today. They signed a rare earths mineral agreement, but will it give us access to tungsten the way, say, China could provide for us?
No, we need all the allies. We need all the access we can get. And Australia is an amazingly endowed country for minerals, especially in the critical metal space. So is the United States. But we need all our allies right now to fill that supply gap.
Do you think that those kind of discussions will be on the table when President Trump is set to meet with the Chinese President Xi Jinping next week? I mean, are they going to be talking about rare earth minerals and how to open access to the critical minerals like tungsten?
Absolutely. And I think what we're seeing with the announcement today is positioning for that. It's Trump wants to be able to go in with strength and say, look, we have friends out there. We can find other sources for it. I think we're not going back to the norm of just allowing China to be the primary supplier for a lot of these metals. I think we need to branch out. And again, it starts looking at things closer to home and partnering with strong allies like Australia.
You are the CEO of Patriot Critical Minerals Corp. What does your company do, and why are you so well versed in something like tungsten?
Well, I'm a geologist by background. I've been working in mining for over 18 years. And our company, Patriot Critical Minerals, what we have is 100% control of America's largest tungsten deposit. It's also the only deposit in the US that has a current compliant resource. So that means it has something that's been fully updated. This makes it incredibly advanced. And what we're looking to do with our project in Elko County, Nevada, is advance that to production so that we have secure supply of tungsten here in the United States.
Quickly, has the government relied on your company, Brodie, or the White House for that matter, on information regarding rare earth minerals? Have you been involved in sort of trade, not negotiations, but trade preparations and finding and accessing rare earth minerals around the world?
We've been talking to the government about how we secure supply here in the United States. As we round that out and continue those conversations, it will become a global topic as well. But again, our primary concern is finding these metals on U.S. soil, so we don't have to rely on any other country.
And do you think we're going to strike a deal with China here in the coming days and weeks?
I'm not sure, Tom. We'll see what comes. I'm not sure. I think the announcement today with Australia is a clear sign that Trump may want to go another direction and not open that door again.
All right, Brodie Sutherland with some really interesting information on something called tungsten. We hear an awful lot about rare earth minerals and how it impacts trade agreements with other countries, but we really have never drilled down into what exactly rare earth minerals even are. But we just learned today the critical nature of at least one of them, that is tungsten, to our nation's national security and defense. Brodie, thanks so much.